Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Weininger Racing. Well, this morning we're working on the golf cart project again, and I gotta be honest, I've been struggling a little bit with the stance of this thing. Now, for a person that likes to build things like that, when I look at this, I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? And I was actually considering shortening it because it looks like long, all stretched out and everything, but you know, I also got to remember what I'm building it for. I'm not going to be racing Baja with this thing. Might go and watch Baja. That's the point of this thing. But after doing some measuring and sitting in this thing, see, I got my line at 1 foot if I was going to take a foot out of it. When I actually sit in this thing, you know, it's comfortable right here. I got the steering wheel about 2 feet from there is where it should be sitting, because I plan on putting about a 1 foot dash. So I'm like, okay, maybe I actually put it in the right place, until I went to my truck and I measured from the seat to the firewall. What's the distance there? And in my Chevy truck, old Greenie back there, it's exactly 30 inches. Well, guess what this was? When I built this, from the firewall to the bench seat, it's exactly 30 inches. So my plan for shortening this thing today is canceled. I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. But what we do have to do is, this was just a temporary bar there, so we're going to put a new bar in there today. Since I'm not doing any shortening here, I can go ahead and put the roof bars in. And so we'll do a little bending and fabricating that today. And yeah, I guess one thing I didn't really go over, I did a quick little clip of this wheel modification. See, one thing I couldn't wait to do was put bigger tires on this thing, because this is just a front quad tire. It's for a quad. So I'm like, well, we got to have bigger tires up front, but the rear wheels of a quad are actually smaller than the front. The bolt pattern wasn't the same, so I had to do a little cutting and drilling, a little modification, and of course I'll grind that up and make it look real pretty and uniform. So we had to kind of change those wheels a little bit. Now the problem I might have, and I don't know if the caliper is going to fit in there, so I might end up having to buy some new wheels in the long run. But right now I want to get this thing rolling, running, the stance correct, get all the chassis work done. Got to mount the gas tank. That's going to get elevated. I actually need to put, and I'll probably do that today, put a bar across here so we can put seat belts. And then from that bar, I can come down and swoop across, create a little saddle for the gas tank to sit in. And then eventually I want like a nice wooden slat bed in this that will tilt, and so this is going to be really cool looking when I'm done. But like I said, I'm not going to shorten it because I actually built it perfect. Even though it looks a little funky right now, we're going to make it look better, and we'll see today. After all the framework I do today, I bet it's going to look a lot better. So I'm going to get busy here, and we'll see how this day goes. So now what I just did there was, I had this already cut, but I did some notching here. And it was very easy. I have a tubing notcher. Sometimes it goes a little cattywampus here, so it's very easy just to use the little Makita here and cut it. So I allow a 1/4 inch, so I cut in a 1/4 inch here, and then as I use the flappy, I just kind of round it there and there. So, and I always take, for having a good weld, you got to take this black stuff off. Okay, it's an insulator, keep it from rusting, something from the factory. So get rid of that down to this nice silver. Then you got nice clean steel to weld on. So that's how to do a simple notch. Now when it gets a little bit more sophisticated, it takes a lot of grinding back and forth to get it perfect. And when I built the A-arms, if you guys watched that video, you probably saw 2, 3, 4 times back to the grinder just to get it perfect. So the whole key to being a good fabricator with tubing is the fit. Having nice welds, you got to have the good fit first. So getting that right is pretty important. So speaking of fit, let's see how this fits. See, it's going to be perfect, but do a little cleanup here and do the notch here because those are cut straight. So now we got the new bar in place. Everything is at the right height, dimension. Looks perfect. So what I'm going to work on now, I want to put these roof bars in. So let's go ahead and get them cut and bent, and we'll get those in, tie the whole roof together. Now, what I wanted to do, I'm talking about putting a bend in it. I want to come out here, maybe tilt it up just a touch for about 2 feet there, right here. And then we'll head down to the windshield. So, total dimension here. Come up here for 2 feet. So I'm going to cut a couple of 5-foot pieces. Basically my 10-foot piece that I have, I'll cut that in half, and that'll give me a couple of pieces for the roof. Now I got this neat little tool that I like to kind of guesstimate the angles I want. This is a huge protractor. So why don't we get a look at this car and see what's going to look good. So what I'm thinking is about 15 degrees. I like to do increments of 15, 30, 45. Put that on tight last time. Now, that'll be 30. I don't think we need 30. I think I was right to begin with. About 15 degrees is all we really need. So we'll go ahead and set up the bender here and do some bending. Actually, guys, we're going to take a little break because the dies I have are 1 inch and I got to switch them out. So that's going to take a little time. You guys don't need to watch that. And I'll be back when it's time to do some bending. Always clean the burrs. Burrs will cut you. They'll make working more difficult if you're trying to slide a piece of tubing. There's a burr on it. So I never work with tubing without first cleaning the burrs. So as you can see, I got my 1.5 inch die set up in here. I got it set at 2 feet. Now I'm going to start the bend at 2 feet. to lock that piece of tubing in there. Good like that. Turn on the pump. I got a protractor there. Hello everybody, so I did get my die put on for the 1.5-inch tubing. So we'll do a couple of bends here. First I like to clean burrs. I don't like using tubing with burrs on it because you can get cut and it makes it difficult to work with, so we'll clean those up. So I do want to start the bend at 2 feet. I'm going to mark it at 22.5 because in this bender, if I set it at the beginning of the die, it actually starts bending a little bit in there. So. Alright, so let's see how this looks on the car. I think that's going to be about right. I like that 15 degrees. Now I got one more to match. Yeah, that one actually went a little far. Now, when I'm getting 2 pieces of tubing to match perfectly, Sometimes I'll actually get on up here. So yeah, this has to go a little bit further. You see, that one just went a tad far. Now, one way you can easily correct something. The bend is actually right now, it's a little bit soft. If you need to spring it back a little bit, it's not that difficult. Let's see if that made any difference here. So after a little bit of bouncing on it, you can see very, very close. Actually went a tad farther because there's about 1/8 of an inch there, but I think that's going to work out just fine. So let's get these cut and fitted to form the roof. As you can see, I just hold it into place. I know I got to notch that side, which I'm going to lose 1/4 inch there. And when we cut a little bit long. So this is where the other tubing falls. And I'm going to leave a little bit there. You don't want to take too much tubing off when you're fitting, because it's real hard to glue it back on. Now granted, with a MIG welder you can fill the Grand Canyon up with steel if you have to, but tubing joints are much stronger when they fit properly, so that's what we try to achieve. Now again, we deburr. I'm not to scratch my daughter's car. That's going to sit just about perfect after I put the notches in there. So get that straight down there. As you can see, I made my straight cuts with the little die grinder, and then with these flappy discs, these do a wonderful job of just making a perfect circle. Take out the outer edge, just clean that up so you get a good weld, and this piece of tubing should be ready to weld in. Let's see how well it fits. Well, it's actually a tad short, which is fine. Now we're going to make the other side precisely the same size. So I want to put this bar at the beginning of this bend right here, and then it'll go straight back. You can tell that these hoops are a little bit, that's 5 foot there, this is basically 4 feet up here. So there's 6 inches difference in how this vehicle tapers down. So I think it's time to weld it. So
the new bars up there, halfway welded in. I weld the bottom once I take this all apart and flip it over. But that way, see what it looks like. I like the looks of that cage. I think for today, that's going to be a wrap. So you know, out here. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, so any of you folks are from here, you know. We're going to start right halfway through the day, it starts to get hot, so I'm going to call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I think the next step on this thing is going to be, I'm going to tie this. I'll just use one up here, maybe tie in the shock tower, and then come on down here, or else, start to get crisscross here, tie these in here, this is going to be just as strong, I'm going to have to extend everything out here. So, and of course I got to get the other, after detailing up this wheel a little bit, make it a little more pretty, and fit the hell better. And then, I got one on the side. So, again, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to continue this project. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.
So, got the new bars up there and halfway welded in. I weld the bottom once I take this all apart and flip it over. But let me get this out of the way and see what it looks like. Kind of like the looks of that cage there. So I think for today that's going to be a wrap. It's getting awfully hot out here. I'm in Tucson, Arizona, so if any of you folks are from here, you know. during the summer, about halfway through the day, it starts to get hot. So I'm gonna call it a day. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I think the next step on this thing is gonna be, I'm thinking how I'm gonna tie this. I'll just use 1 inch up here, maybe tie into the shock tower, and then come on down here, or else structurally I can do a crisscross here, tie these into here, and it's just going to be just as strong. Don't have to extend everything out here. So, and of course I got to get the other, after detailing up this wheel a little bit, making it look more pretty and fit that hub better, then I got the one to do on this side. So again, thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I'm going to continue this project. Everyone have a wonderful day. Thank you.